Cup of Joe with Grandpa Dez. Hey, Sebastian. Okay, if you've ever watched the show, I have my standard opening, and I say the guy's name, and I'm already stopping myself because, as we both do, I listen to the Facebook Land show with David Lovell, and he always calls you Sebastian, but your name is spelled Sebastiano, so I don't know which it is, or is both okay?
So both are fine. The Sebastiano is the Italian, but most people call me Sebastian. You can call me Seb. Whatever
Seb?
works for you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I would, just because in my head, like, this is actually probably the first time we've ever actually spoken, with words as opposed like with our voices, I should say. But we talk all the time in DMs, and in my head, you're Sebastiano. So that's how I would, that you're okay with that?
Whatever works for you is good for me.
Okay. So take two. Hey, Sebastiano, how you doing, buddy?
I am fantastic today.
Awesome. You sound great. Look good. You're overdressed for this, but that's okay.
I had to show the show some respect and suit up for you. So,
I appreciate it.
And I've got my cup of Joe for you.
Yeah, you told me. And this is that Teenage Mutant. Oh, that's awesome. This is a Coke cup. My mom used to love these. And this ain't water, except it actually is water.
Nice. I have one.
You get the reference, though, right?
Got McDonald's had those cups for a bit, and I've got one stuck in my cupboard, and it's still in the packaging. So, is it
the hard, like, plastic kind of thing, or is it glass?
No idea. I've never even taken it out of the package.
Oh,
it's still brand new.
This one's glass. I love it, but they're smaller. Like the old ones, like when I was like 20, they were huge. This is like, this is like 6 sips. It's nothing. Nice. I did a show earlier today with I don't know if you saw it. If you haven't, go watch it. With Garrett, and I that's where I had my big cup of Joe. And James McDaniel, Peppermint Fatty, was making fun of me because he said it looked like a 97-ounce cup of coffee from McDonald's. So
the serving sizes in Canada, it's small for the food and big for the coffee, and in the US it's the opposite. So
exactly. Yeah, I know. You ask for like a large, like, so if you ask for a large fries, like in the States, it's freaking large. But the drinks, because I asked for an extra large coffee at McDonald's last time I was down in the States, and it was not as big as the one here, and I was disappointed. It's like, what do I need to order 2? I need my coffee, man.
I love the Owen Hart shirt, by the way. That's,
thank you.
Fantastic.
This is it's if you remember when they did the Dark Side of the Ring special, and Martha Hart, it was like the fundraiser for the foundation, so that's where I got 2 of them. Nice. As you know, he's my all-time favorite wrestler. And yours is his brother?
Mine's his brother, definitely. Bruce.
I almost had to cancel. I almost had to cancel, but you know what? I appreciate the man's in-ring work. As we know, sometimes our in-ring heroes are not necessarily the nicest people outside the ring, as I found out this week.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Kerfuffle. Okay. Yeah. No, it's a big topic of discussion. I got a DM yesterday from James, who I was just talking about, and he said, have you seen the thing on Wrestle Talk about you? And I'm like, no, I don't even know what Wrestle Talk is. And he's like, oh, it's this huge like YouTube show. He's like, that's like 86,000 views. And then so he saw the subject of it, and it was like, Punk Blast fan on Twitter or something like that, or Punk Blasts. It didn't say fan. There was another article that said fan. Whatever it was worded, he read this and he's like, is he talking about Paul? And then so he went and he watched the thing, and sure enough, and this guy, I can't remember his name. I like to put him over. I think it's Ollie is his name, the host. He actually did like just a super job of running down the whole thing. He was completely balanced, presented my side of the argument very well, I thought. And even Punk's, and then somebody basically slammed the rest of the people that got in on this. And that's what the problem was. It wasn't what I said. If what I said was left alone, Punk never sees it, or he doesn't even care about it. but it was all the kerfuffle, as I'll use your word, that that it just blew up. And it was but live and learn.
Some toxic Twitter people were just all over that. So
well, I quickly figured out, and if you ever find yourself in this situation, this is my advice to you. Just have a look when you start realizing, okay, you're going back and forth with the same people, and then have a look at their followers and their people that follow them. And then you quickly realize, okay, this person is not somebody I want to waste my time with. And I'm not saying, oh, if you don't have as many followers as I do, you're terrible. But I mean, so like I looked at yours or whatever, and you have like 200 and some followers or whatever. So, I mean, you're not a troll. You're just somebody that doesn't have a lot of followers, but you're on Twitter and your friends follow you and you follow the people you're interested in. That's most people. That's probably 85% of the people on Twitter are that. This guy, 43 followers, 0 people following him. This is a troll. This is somebody that probably has another normal account, and he uses this account just to piss people off.
Yeah, there's a lot of the burner accounts, and for the record, I'm at 299 now, but I'm going to shoot up over 300 after we get 86,000 views here. So
yeah, well, you know what? Even if we get 20, you'll get a few off of this. And I'll be honest with you, I have a burner account. Let me just pull it up here. It's on my second phone. I don't know how many followers I have. So 37 following, 10 followers. That's my burner account. So if you ever get involved with my burner account, you'll know I'm just being an idiot. When I feel like bashing somebody, I just find it and I let out my frustrations. And you know what? And that's just, I think a lot of people do that. And I mean, but again, like it's not so much that I go after people personally. It's just, I just have some things I need to say and I don't want to use my own name. Yeah, I'm a coward. It doesn't matter.
Nobody's judging you for it.
Well, I hope not. And if they don't figure out it's me. But yeah, no, I mean, as myself, like when I'm representing, I try to be civil. In this whole thing, I wasn't perfect. I made some mistakes. I admitted to them and I learned from it. So, but yeah, this ain't about me. It's about you. So, so I wanted to ask you, you and I we're both super into music. Canadian music more often than not. I love your choices, your song choices that you pick, and especially the stuff you pick for your daughter. And I just like sometimes I'll even imagine you sitting and listening, with your daughter and stuff, and I just think it's like super cool.
Yeah, and we listen to music all the time. And we have the Switch, so we've got Just Dance, and they love dancing with all of that. And then we'll play music and we'll have dance parties because I've got 2 girls, and they're with me a lot of the time because my wife and I are separated. So we just I'm the happiest I've been in a very long time, and that's not a knock on her. That's just a change of life. But it's fantastic because we listen to music and we dance, and it's very much a musical household. In fact, I took up guitar as we started getting divorced. So now I'm like 6 months in, and I can play half of a song almost. So,
well, what the nice thing about that is that your daughters will have so the fact that you and your wife are split up is probably not terribly easy for them to deal with, especially at their young age. But when they go to dad's place, they are going to associate it with, music, having fun. I remember when I was a kid, my parents were split up, and I would go to my dad's, and I remember like there's certain songs that I'll hear, and it'll be like, oh yeah, that's a song my dad used to play when I would go over to his house. My Sharona by the Knack. Lola by the Kinks, like certain songs that just bring back those memories. And your girls are going to have that. And that's super cool. And then, maybe eventually, you'll end up with somebody else, and, and then they'll have the benefit, because once you and your wife, once the separation's over, hopefully, your parents, you're going to coexist, but you're going to have your own lives, and they can look at it as they have like a bonus family, which is cool. So for me, it was kind of like that. Like I had my dad and his wife, and then I had my home, and it was cool. And then when I got older, I got to know my dad a lot more, and my sister, who I didn't grow up with, I got to know her. So, because because she was a different mom. She's with my dad's second wife, so we didn't grow up together, but we're like real good friends now. So, yeah. So music is like super important to you, and so you get to listen to you're introducing them to like probably a lot of the stuff, or are you trying to pick up on what they like?
It goes both ways completely.
Okay.
Like, my youngest, who's 4, she likes Blackpink, and which is cool because Bret Hart's colors. But she'll just like throw.
That's a band.
It is. It's a K-pop band.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay,
Parker would probably be into them.
Yeah,
he's into all that stuff. But yeah, she'll listen to them, and the older one's into Taylor Swift and Katy Perry. So there's always songs that I'm not super familiar with, but they've brought me up to speed. So that kind of stuff keeps you like more in the loop too. So it's kind of nice. And then I'll play like Our Lady Peace or Foo Fighters for them, just some older rock stuff. So we get a nice balance.
So they actually love, and they like that stuff.
Yeah, they love Queen actually.
Oh wow!
Too. So that's that's another one for them.
My daughter likes a lot of older stuff, like Harry Belafonte. She loves that Banana Boat song, really? And nice. That one, the Pitbull, the one that Pitbull remade, but it's originally like an older song. It was in Edward Scissorhands. I'm trying to blank right now. It's been a long day. Shake, 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 senora, take it all night. That one, yeah. Nice. Yeah. Hey, I'm looking up. I looked up so I think I know this Ice Cream song by Blackpink. And yeah, Selena Gomez. Yeah. So yeah, I know. I guess maybe I probably just have heard it and I didn't know it. I mean, I know what's that other big K-pop band that's like huge now. They had a thing with McDonald's not that long ago.
Yeah, and I'm drawing a total blank on them because my kids don't listen to that one. I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah,
my niece is super boys.
Into them. Some people are shouting at us right now. But this looks like the female version of that. Except they are so they're Korean. Okay, they're not Japanese.
And they sing. I think that they just started in English more recently too. So.
Well, it said they debuted and peaked at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100. So that's probably why I know it, because I don't know if you saw this. I can't remember where I was explaining it. It was somewhere on Facebook. It might have been in one of David's threads. It might have been in our group, but I try to not be completely out of touch with new stuff. So what I'll do is once a day, I look at the Billboard Hot 100 and I'll pick a new song. So I start from the top, and they update it every week. So I start from the top, and the top ranking new song, I'll pull up on Apple Music. I'll listen to it. I'll do create station, and then I'll listen to like associated songs like that. So sometimes it's painful, but I'll just see like, what did I listen to today? Wasn't that long ago. So it started with I Hate Young Boy by Young Boy Never Broke Again. That took me to Love Through the Computer by Gucci Mane. Martin and Gina by Polo G, which I actually like that song. Nonstop by Drake, which is a good tune. Cruise by NLE Choppa. And then when I hit Bop by Da Baby, I couldn't do it anymore. That's this song here. I don't know if you can hear it.
Okay, I can hear that.
Yeah. But the next one, I should have kept going, because the next one was a song I'm sure you know. Just try to... Here, I'll fast forward a bit.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Drake.
Yeah, my girls both love that song, actually.
That's a great tune. Drake's awesome. Did you watch Degrassi when it was on?
I started watching Degrassi like the old school Joey Jeremiah days, Snake and all that, Wheels. And then Drake was
in the second version.
Yeah, in the new generation, I think it was called.
I watched that version with my oldest daughter, who is you can see her in the background there behind me, the one in the middle. That's Alicia. And actually probably around the time that picture was taken, we were watching Degrassi. And so she because I'm like, oh well, this show was when I was a kid, it was real popular, so let's watch the reboot. And she loved it, and I got to love it. All the new characters, Emma and Drake was Jimmy, right? And they had Shane and all these different, it was basically the exact same show, just updated. And now you got Euphoria, which is like a whole other.
My mom actually grew up around the corner from Degrassi Street.
Really?
So yeah, she was raised there. She was born in Italy, but then she came to Toronto and she lived just around the corner from it. So
So there was a characters on the original Degrassi that kind of fit that mold, if I'm not mistaken, or was it the new one? There was, oh man, there one of the characters, and actually you look a little like him. Hang on, Degrassi. What is it called? The New Generation?
I think it's new
Yeah,
generation.
I just want to look at the cast.
Yeah. Used to be on Much Music like
Yeah.
all day, every day.
Well, it started on CBC,
Yeah, the old
or
school.
or CTV, I should say. The original Adam Ruggiero. So the character was Marco Del Rossi, and his character, like I think his family came from Italy, and it's kind of like what you're describing. Um,
Nice.
yeah, and I don't know if you're like you. So you said you watched the old one. You didn't watch the new one?
I watched the new one, but very sparingly. I
Oh, okay, so
wasn't.
you might not be
It came out
familiar.
at a time when I was
Yeah,
like too old for it, and my girls weren't born yet, so it was
so
like
was I.
we were
I mean,
between.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
was definitely too old for it.
Wow.
But I mean, a lot of like Drake came from there. Nina
Mm.
Dobrev, who later became a pretty big star in the United States. I'm just looking at the cast. Miriam McDonald had was in a couple movies and stuff. But
Yeah,
um,
Kevin Smith was on the newer one too, and
yep.
he did an interview I remember way back in the day where he said that the first purchase he ever made when he got money was the tape set of Degrassi because it wasn't available in stores. So he had to like special order it.
Did you
So,
ever watch the actual original, which a lot of people don't
the
even
Kids
know
of
about?
Degrassi Street.
Yeah.
I watched that, but I think you're about exactly 10 years older than I am.
Okay, so
So
you
that
would have
show
been like
was
3.
yeah, I know because my older siblings watched, but I can't remember anything from
It's
it.
weird because it's the same actors, but they all have different names. So when
Oh,
you're
nice.
watching it, yeah. So when if you ever watch it, you're like, oh, there's Joey, there's
Mm,
Caitlin, and but that's not their names, and the twins were
wow.
on there, and so it was all the same actors, but they just had these different names. And then when the original Degrassi started, like it's funny, you watch the first few episodes, and it was really clear, like they had no idea who was going to be the stars. Like it was originally built around, like the first couple episodes were like centered around these two characters that you barely even saw anymore. Like I think they quickly figured out, okay, Joey Jeremiah is the guy we got to build the show around. Like
Yeah,
he's the star, and Snake and Wheels, and but that
yeah,
man, that show was awesome.
yeah.
Like, yeah, I remember, like I was so shocked when the finale, when they had the School's Out. Do you remember that? Did you
No,
ever
not.
watch it?
I'm positive I watched it because my sister was like a mega fan, but I couldn't
Okay.
tell you what
Well,
happened.
it was crazy because number one, they swore on the thing, which was huge, like back then, because he like so yeah, you're gonna be okay. She said something like, so Joey was with Caitlin, and they're like super serious, and they're like older at this point, right? They're,
Mhm.
they're about to go into college, and then he meets this younger girl, and then Caitlin gets mad at him, and she's like, "You fucked so and so," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" They just said it, and
Yeah,
then the end of the show, Wheels gets drunk and crashes up a car and kills somebody. Like it's just crazy. And then so when the new Degrassi started, like remember, Wheels is in jail. I don't know if you ever saw that. So he ends up getting out. He did like a couple episodes of the new
mm,
one, but and man, that dude, like when he was an adult, like number one, he looked the exact same. Number two, he's the worst actor I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how he did it
mm,
when he was a kid, but he was just like he's staring at the screen, and he's like you could tell he's like reading the words.
yeah.
I was in like I swear, like I don't like I feel bad if this is true. Like I wouldn't be surprised if the guy, like maybe it was a character, but it was almost like he had brain damage or something.
Oh man.
There was the other character on the original show who actually did have brain damage. He was the father, I think he was Emma's father. So like the one that got Spike pregnant, you remember? Like I'm probably,
Mm,
I'm starting to
I
talk like this. I'm like this super fan, and I'm feeling like you watched like 9 episodes.
I definitely watched them all, but I was so
Okay.
young when I watched them
Yeah.
that I was
So
the one thing my most vivid memory of the show is when Joey went streaking.
oh yeah.
But,
Oh, do you remember the song?
Oh, at the start of the show?
Everybody wants something, they'll take your money. Everybody wants something, they'll never give up. It's Joey and his band's song. They had like Joey Snake and Wheels had this like garage band, and that was their song.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I'm
Things that
gonna
get
have
stuck in my
to
head.
watch now. I'm gonna do like a.
Don't waste your time.
I might though. And
But you
that's
know,
like the whole.
I'm watching 20 years. It's
Oh,
crazy
really?
the stuff I remember. And yet you asked me who won the second match on Dynamite on Monday. I don't know. Ask me what was CM Punk's entrance music in ROH.
I don't get that reference.
Yeah, but I can remember Joey Jeremiah's song in like 1988 to Gracie.
I think I'm like that with Saved by the Bell because I was a bit older when I watched that, and so all like even the Good Morning Miss Bliss stuff, like I watched every episode of that when they were in Indiana, and
Okay.
then Miss Bliss like left and she didn't exist anymore, and all of a sudden they're in California. So.
You and Chris DiPetrillo should get together. He's like, do you know Chris?
Yeah,
he's like such a huge like he's a fanatic. He's a fanatic. Saved by the Bell fan. When I first met him, so his nickname on the F4W board is Zach Malibu. He named his kid Zach.
Yeah.
Him and his son. Well, so when I met him, he said I watch at least 3 episodes of Saved by the Bell every single day.
Oh my god.
This is like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, 20 years after the show ended. And then I'm like, oh, are you, do you watch like Mark Paul Gosselaar's, like, did you watch him when he was on NYPD Blue? He had that show like a few years ago where he played a baseball player. Yeah.
That was a great show. I love that.
Yeah, I love that. He's like, oh yeah, I'm right into that. And he's like, everything, like just, whatever the guy's name is. And then I was so happy when he posted a picture at one point where he got to meet Mark Paul Gosselaar and his son as well. And, and they had the pictures were like so great. Yeah. And it's just, and I do, I've done, Chris has been on this show twice. We review old 80s movies. Yeah. So you said 10, so you're in your you're what, 40, 41?
41, yeah.
41, yeah. So 10 years younger than me. Yeah. So yeah, it's I mean, it's funny because obviously when I was like 20 and you were 10, I mean, we're completely different worlds, but now it's, we might as well be the same age, I feel like.
Yeah, once you hit like 30, it's all downhill, so it doesn't matter anyway.
I don't know. For me, it's been uphill. You know what? I'll be honest. Like other than physically, I just, I'm dreading the next 10 years. But, like everything else, I'm really like in a super good place. I feel like I'm finally like, it was funny because I've got 6 kids, right? And you see that picture behind me, and that was the first 4. So the older 2, I don't know if you know the story, but the older 2 are my birth children. And then the youngest 4 were my sisters by birth. And so those 2 in there, they were the first 2. She raised them until they're about 3 and 2. And then they were taken away by Child and Family Services and they were placed with us. And then she had more kids. And so we ended up with 2 of them. So Emily's the youngest. I would say by the time we got Emily, which is 10 years ago, almost, she was born in 2012. That's about when I was ready to be a dad. So my sixth kid, I think I was finally a pretty good dad. My kids would tell you different, and and I tried, but it was a lot of trial and error. When I can tell you, when I was 20 and I had 2 kids, I was, or maybe 20, 20 for the first, so 22 I had 2. I was not ready. My wife was, and thank God for that. Or it could have been really bad, but it's tough. And you're you're 42, and your oldest is what?
She's 8.
8. Okay, yeah. 8. So yeah, so that's a good age.
Yeah.
For you, like 34, like you're set, right?
Yeah, I'm in a groove now with them, so everything's going.
I guess the being separated is tough. For us, we were real stubborn. But one of the things with us is one of our policies we had, and this is right from day one. And God, when we were dating, like we didn't date for very long. We met in 1990 and we were married in 1991. So it was like probably about 8 months from the time we met till the time we were married. And we were young, like super young, but we argued so much. And people that were around us were like these guys aren't going to last like 2 weeks, whatever. And then we get
Yeah.
married, and I had my cousin and her boyfriend living with us, and they ended up getting married. And I'm really good friends with Doug. He's in our Facebook group. But I mean, we fought all the time, and they were like looking at us like, oh my God, like are we going to be here when they like kill each other? But we always made up. Our policy was we never go to bed angry, and it's worked so far. I mean, it's not perfect, and God, she's got the patience of Job to stick with me this long, but we're still together. It's 31 years, and people say, oh, do you stay together for the kids and stuff? And it's no, like, I think that if you're miserable and if you can't live together and if you can't get along, and if we couldn't do this, if we couldn't go to bed with everything resolved, I think it'd be worse trying to raise the kids in that kind of environment. And so we would have had to split up, and then God forbid, like, I'd be a wreck. Like, I don't know how you do it, because I couldn't. Like, I'd fall apart if something happened to me and my wife, I'm done. Like,
yeah, I think that I've just been in the groove of taking care of certain things for so long. Like, I was always, taking them to school and
okay,
prepping the meals and doing all that stuff and laundry. So I've always been from that end of things. It's been a smooth transition. The one thing that you can't see from this vantage point on the camera is that my house is in need of like a wash right now.
okay.
So, there's certain things that are, not being kept up with as much because, less sleep and more responsibility. But
Well,
it's a good
and
trade-off to not have like that stress in the home.
and that's just it, right? And for your daughter, for your girls, like, for them to have a loving home is probably more important than, okay, maybe it looks a little better and it's a little, but I'm stressed out, and then
Yeah.
I'm, I don't, I'm snapping at my kids and stuff, and that time that they get with you has to be like, in your mind, it has to be the best time of their week, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I love that. I just picture you guys having your little dance parties and listening to David, and the girls mark it out when they hear their names.
Yeah.
Scarlett and what's the
And
other?
Naomi is the youngest one.
Naomi. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Scarlett's the one I always remember because she's a year younger than Emily. So, and Emily always marks out when she hears her name. I love the way David says her name. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Emily. Yeah.
I think everybody marks out when they hear Emily.
Wow, that's awesome. And she always has good songs. So okay, so I said we're gonna be about a half an hour, so we're getting close. Was there anything you wanted to talk about?
No, we've talked music, we've talked life, we've talked some shenanigans of Twitter.
Sports. Yeah, what's your team?
That reminds me, because Preet's probably going to listen to this. I had to do his hat, but I didn't want to wear it.
I've got my. Can you see my Jets hat on the floor there?
I can.
Yeah. I was wearing it for a little while because I was subconscious about my hairline, and then my wife said, "You look worse with it on." So
nice.
Yeah.
I got this at the Olympics in Vancouver, so it's a
West Coast
hat. Yeah.
Yeah. So that must be where he got it from then too. So you went to the Olympics in Vancouver?
I did, yeah.
Oh, that's
I was
awesome.
living in BC. I lived out there for a year. So
I lived in Victoria for 3 when I was a kid. That's on my bucket list. I want to see maybe 2032 when I think they're going to Calgary is kind of the rumor. So maybe I'll try to go to that. What are your teams?
Right now, my team is like basically the Jays. I watch almost nothing else at all right now. I've watched one hockey game this year. I watched the Super Bowl for football. I'm a Bills fan, but I don't watch football anymore. So
are you happy about the news that they're coming back?
I'm happy about it. I'm kind of torn because I've gone to a Jays game every year, and I'm still concerned over going, back to the Skydome right now. But we'll see.
You know what? I mean, everyone's got their own comfort level, but I wouldn't be, if I was you, I wouldn't be worried. We went to a Jets game like 2 months ago, like just before Omicron hit, or no, I guess it'd be longer than that, 4 months ago maybe. And I felt super safe. Like, everybody was wearing a mask. I can't even say almost everyone. Everyone was wearing a mask. Now it's not going to be mandatory anymore, so a lot of people won't be, but I think a lot of people will be. And I think, well, yeah, I guess you don't have to be vaccinated. Maybe, now I'm starting to talk myself into being a little worried.
No, don't be worried. You'll be fine.
I'm going to Mania in a month, but we've been talking about that because my wife's worried. Like, what happened? Like, if we get COVID while we're down there, it's not so much about getting COVID. That we're not worried about that. We're worried about being stuck down there for 10 days because we got COVID. So but I mean, I suppose we should be more worried about the COVID, but I think everyone's just kind of,
just get good travel insurance for going down there.
Yeah. We have pretty good insurance anyways. I just was sick for the first time in 2 years. I mean, so as I forgot what that was like.
Yeah.
And I was sure I had COVID. I tested a couple times and no, I was negative. It was just a cold. And then my mother-in-law got sick right after, and then it turns out she had strep throat. So not COVID, but she had strep throat. So maybe that's what I had. But and she's older, so it's a little bit harder on her. So the Jays, they're looking good this year. I mean, I'm hearing. I was just listening to. Do you listen to any of the talk shows, like the sports talk shows? I listen to Drive Time with Ben Ennis and Stephen Brunt.
No, like 90% of my listening is either David's shows or something on Fight Game or Figure 4.
Okay.
I've or like some other podcasts like Retronauts, but I listen to like Zero Sports, radio, and sports talk right now.
Well,
I used to be like a demon. I used to listen to everything and watch everything, and then ever since I had kids, like the past 8 years, like sports have barely existed. It's like baseball and UFC is what I watch now.
Well, for me, it's I mean, because I work from home, I'm constantly listening to either music or podcasts. And so it's, that's how I get through all this. People might think, oh my God, how do you watch all that wrestling and you listen to all these podcasts and everything? It's like, well, I'm working. So I'm listening to stuff while I'm working. But that's the same reason why, like, when people are raving about, oh, the Brian and Vinny show video, you got to watch this. It's like, I can't. Like, I'm working while I'm listening to the Brian and Vinny show. If I throw on the video, I got to watch it. Or, I mean, they say, oh, well, you can just have it on in the background. It's like, well, then I might as well just listen to the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And here I am, we're doing a video show. But this will be up on audio at some point too. So people can listen to it then when they want. But no, the reason I was saying, I was listening to this thing. And so I didn't know that the lockout was over. And Garrett Gonzalez posted in our group, he posted the video for center field, put me in coach, and so Garrett and I have this weird relationship, and I'll often comment on something and I'll ask him, but I'll do it in the Facebook group. Now I have a reason for this. I'll ask him because I think, well, I might not be the only person that has this question. So if I ask you and you answer me, then everyone will know. And then someone else that's reading might wonder. So I saw this post. The whole post is the video of center field, put me in coach. That's the whole post. So my initial thought was, like, does he just like the song? Is he taking over Wrestling Observer Radio for Brian Alvarez? Is he, what's going on? Like, put me in coach. Like, I'm subbing in for somebody. I had no idea. So I was and nobody had commented on the post yet. So I was gonna say, like, what's this about? But then I remembered Garrett says, don't ask me question. If you're going to ask me something, send me a DM. So I sent him a DM. I said, what's this about? You just like the song? He's like, no, the lockout's over. I'm like, I had no idea. Because I'm listening to Wrestling Observer Radio. I'm listening to music. It's like, I would have found out eventually. Like, I'm 2 weeks behind on my, Drive Time podcast. So when I get to it in 2 weeks, but apparently the Jays are looking to spend a lot of money this year. That's my point. They're at $132 million in payroll, and apparently they could spend at as much as another $50 million this year. So they're going after some big time free agents. So
Rogers owns the team, the stadium, and the network, so they've got money. They just don't like to spend it. So,
but they're letting the purse strings go a little bit. That's what they're saying this year. So, and they got to sign Bo and Vladdy to extensions. So, and really, I heard, it wasn't Vladdy, but it was someone else that was on Vladdy's level, got offered a 13-year contract for, I think it was $350 million, and turned it down. So that's the kind of money that they're
Yeah.
up north of that. I mean, really, realistically, to sign those two guys, you're going to be close to $1 billion that Rogers is going to have to commit if they want to keep Bo and Vladdy long term, whether that's 13, 15 years. You know, they're both looking at probably $400 million or more to keep them. That's insane.
Vladdy's going to go down as the greatest Canadian player ever, so you got to keep him here. Like, that's just from the marketing standpoint alone.
And Bo and Bo might be actually a better player. You know, like I think Vladdy's gonna be the more flashy player and probably rung up more home runs, but I think Bo might win like 7 batting titles and be an MVP. Like those two together, if you can keep them together, and then with the pitching, Manoah, Nate Pearson, who else have they got? Oh, they just signed that guy from San Francisco, Gossman. They still have Park, or what's his name? The guy, Ryu. And then Jose Barrios. Like it's incredible, their team. Like
they're going to do well this year. I'm going to have to go to a game. I'm going to talk myself into it at some point.
I've gone to one game in my life.
Really?
Yeah, one Blue Jays game. It was I brought my second youngest daughter, Sydney. We had great seats. It was in 2014. So the Jays were terrible, but we had a great time, and I love the building. So yeah, so you know what? That'll just about do it. I'm so glad we finally got a chance to do this, and I'll definitely have you on again, and we'll catch up in a few months, and we'll see where things are at.
After a less hectic week for you.
You know what? It feels like a month since I've done a Grandpa Dez show. I was looking it up because I always number the shows. So this is, I think it's episode 46. And I actually have something in mind for episode 50. I don't know if it's going to happen. But if I can do it, that'd be great. But I couldn't remember what the last show I did was. Like, it feels like it's been a month, and it was Justin Nipper. So that was last week. And then I did the Ben Bishop interview, which wasn't a Grandpa Dez show, but when I logged in, that was what was on. So I think that's the last show I actually did, was the interview. I don't know if you saw that. If you didn't, you should check it out on the Fight Game Media Facebook, or the Fight Game, this one here. He's an up and coming indie guy who I have a feeling AEW is going to sign him, and he'd be great in WWE, but they weren't interested. I guess he's a little old for them. He's 31, but he's 6'12", as he puts it, and legit. Like, he's a former basketball player, and he's got charisma. He can work. Like, he's a good wrestler. Like, I'm amazed that WWE passed up on this guy, but I think he'd be perfect to take over for Wardlow. If him and MJF are indeed split up. So
sign him and Gabby Ortiz, and you're good to go.
There you go. Yeah, people. I've reached out to Gabby. She has not answered me. I will do it again. I'm trying. Nice. If you've got connections, by all means, let me know. But I will try to get her on the show. Nice. She's the girl that macked out with MJF, right?
She is.
Yeah.
She was not the one who had her tongue in his mouth, though. She just kissed him on the cheek.
Oh,
she's dating LSG.
So you said, okay, so you said she stole the show.
Because she was she was looking great there.
Oh, okay.
She was one of the two girls, but
I thought the one that macked with, like, the one that had shoved her tongue down the throat. I thought she was the one that.
No, she was the one with Thunder Rosa, though. With that meme that went around where.
Yeah.
So.
The big I've seen that one more than I wanted to. Okay. So for Sebastiano, I've been Grandpa Dez, and this has been Cup of